Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
Wyatt's back joining us from the New Orleans FLG New Orleans Open.
Yeah, back. I'm still tired.
That's what happens when you get old, Wyatt.
Yeah, I know.
You're tired a lot. So I hear. I don't know.
I don't know, man. The XPZ party's hard. I should have given him one night. Instead, I was partying with him every night.
Woo!
Wildman.
Did you order anything for the bathtub?
No. I don't even think they were doing room service.
Dang.
You asked him if he ordered anything from the bathtub?
No, like to the bathtub.
Well, from and to.
Like you're in the bathtub and you're just chilling and you order food and someone brings it into the bathroom and gives it to you while you're in the bathtub. Is this like what we're talking about here? Yeah,
but you have clothes on when you're in the bathtub, obviously, and there's no water because that'd just be weird. Why else would you be in the bathtub?
They did. The TVs were nice. I could connect my Amazon. So during my downtime, I watched the Lonesome Dove miniseries.
Nice. Well, that's going to be awesome because table of contents, we're going to talk about them Custodes. We're going to talk about the actual results at New Orleans Open with Wyatt, who was there, boots on the ground, and then possibly a little light discussion on Tyranids. And this is our last show of 2021 before we all go on break. So let's just get this thing started with a classic Would You Rather as we roll out to Wyatt's Cave of Wonders.
Ooh. Would you rather add a new faction to 40K, and what would it be? Or would you remove one faction from 40K, and what would it be?
It's like the trigger alert right here. Trigger alert.
So apparently the least popular faction, according to the word on the street, is the Gene Stealer cults for 40K.
So would you choose remove them?
I mean, I don't personally. If I had to remove them to put something doper in, I mean,
it's not both. It's you're adding or you're subtracting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you choosing to
I would just add something then. Why would you take something away from people?
Interesting.
Some factions are dumb.
Interesting.
Nah.
So you choose
search your heart, Rob. You know it to be true.
So you choose like positivity. You're like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna take anything away. I'm just gonna bring new cool shit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Why are you gonna shit on somebody?
So then the second part of this question is what would that faction be?
Why not squats? I mean, it's basically the only one left. They're pulling the whole make sequels of everything, or make the 2.0 reboots of everything.
What do you want, Rob? This is what you want. What do you want to see?
But also you said like why? I feel like Rob is already imagining he's running the company. And he's trying to give the fans what they want.
Oh, that wasn't part of it. I just said, what would it be?
I would bring something back.
And it would be squats? All right, do you love the squats, or is it just because they want to give people what they want?
I think it'd just be neat to see. I don't. If I was to be like, I think this is dope and we should have it, it would be some mecha version of NIDS or some hybrid mecha alien sort of thing. We got Tau and they're cool. Because, they're manga sort of, but I think if we had a mecha version of something, that would be pretty dope. Something we haven't seen, Imagine like NIDS, but like meched out. Not necessarily NIDS, like big alien. Something.
Yeah, I get it. Robot aliens, cyborg.
Yeah,
aliens.
like robo aliens, and
So Necrons.
No, not necessarily.
I think he means like cyborgs with like fleshy bits and
yeah.
Oh, okay, like the Borg.
yeah, like
No.
the Borg. No,
Like
I don't know.
Dino Riders.
Dino Riders.
Just say
There it
Dino
is.
Riders.
Got it. Rob is bringing Dino Riders into Warhammer 40K.
Not enough. You heard it.
I mean,
from
technically
the
that's
Grand-
Exodites.
You heard it from the Grand Lizard himself. He wants Lizardmen in.
Lizardmen.
I mean,
faction.
technically, Dino Riders would be Exodites, so that's not necessarily what I'm saying.
Are Exodites like? Do they look like Dino Riders for real? Like
No, they're
metal
Eldar.
jaws and shit, or are they just
But
like
they ride
Eldar?
dinosaurs
Yeah,
and
no.
shit.
You said cyborg fucking.
Yeah, like Cyborg, like the dinos would be cool, but that was just an example.
Are you
Like, pretty crazy?
saying that you're gonna bring Transformers into 40K, but they're cyborgs instead of
Look, I
autonomous?
like big robots. I'm
But
just
you
trying
want-
to
but
adapt
cyborgs
it
are
into
different than
40K.
robots. They have human brains, or they have like organic brains.
Sure, something like that.
Got it.
I don't know. I haven't put much super thought into it.
Robot, cyborg, lizard, dinosaurs. Rob Baer. See,
That sounds like a '90s cartoon.
It's definitely our 90s.
Robot,
You
cyborg,
just
lizard,
described.
dinosaurs comes on
Dino
at
Riders.
9 after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
I love it, Rob.
I have the best ideas.com.
That's right. /rerule. I would take something away.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Ooh.
First off, I'm going to fix problems, not add problems. I'm going to address the core of this.
Okay.
I'm going to do it just the best way possible. So when you say faction, define that for me, Genie.
A codex.
Just a single codex?
Yes.
So I can't use a super faction?
Nope. I knew-
Grand
I knew where
Alliance
you were gonna go to.
Imperials.
No, it's a codex.
I was going to strip the entire Space Marine fucking Imperium from the fucking game system. Everything.
How are you going to make?
all of them.
How are you going
Just
to make
one
money?
codex.
I'm not here to make money, Doug. I'm here to make the game easier to understand.
Yeah, this is from the heart. It's what you
And
really.
even though Space Marines are easy to understand, there's too many of them. Get rid of all of them. Fuck them all.
Okay.
Like anything with a Space Marine keyword, a Stardust or whatever, gone. That would be what like my first go-to.
So your Heretic Astartes is gone too.
Fuck them.
Bubonic Astartes.
All of it.
I think you just want to see the world burn.
All things that are just reimagined Space Marines, gone.
Okay.
That's like 80% of the game.
Yeah.
So if I can't,
Whole strategy, Cotton.
so if I can't go with that, and it's literally just codex, Tyranids, strike them from the record.
Nice. I can respect that.
Tyranids, dumb looking, don't make sense, hate the models.
Ooh, and I thought my take was going to be the hottest one.
Like,
What's your take?
Oh, fuck Tau. Fuck them.
Wow.
Get them out of my game. They're stupid. They're not even cool mecha stuff. They did it wrong. As somebody who holds a PhD in Gundamology, they took what could have been awesome and they fucked it right up, and it's been stupid the entire time. Fuck Tau.
oh, this is what I like though. So if I say, fuck Tyranids, get rid of them. And Rob, so my goal, so you snap your fingers for me. Then you sidebar, also snap your fingers for Rob. So Tyranids are replaced with Dino Rider, Lizard, fucking cyborg.
No, I didn't say replaced.
No.
I said-
You didn't say replace, but that would occur if the Genie did a side deal with
Yeah, both of
us.
these are this is happening simultaneously.
So you just fixed Tyranids. You made Tyranids good, in my opinion, because that's my problem with them. They don't make sense to me. They don't look like bugs. I'm sure for all the Tyranid people, like, they're not bugs. I don't give a fuck. They're not scary. They're goofy looking. They're like big, scary face masks, like Halloween masks. Like, there's nothing like, and then nah. But if they were cyborg, lizard, dino rider people, I'm in.
At least have character that way.
I'm in.
Oh, War Pig is like, how would you fix Tau? I would get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You start over completely.
That's right. Somebody in chat was like, I like the way it was like, God damn, he does just want to see the world burn. 40K is only Xenos now due to Kenny.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. I mean, so if nobody ever knew what a Space Marine was, it wouldn't be bad.
No, it'd be human Imperial Guard people. Because I would target the Astartes thing.
Or you'd
like,
Starship Trooper it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get rid of all that.
If the Tyranids were like the Arachnids from Starship Troopers, I think I could get behind them.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Like, my argument for retconning Tyranids has always been like, they look fucking dumb, right? They don't have a single model that I'm like, that's dope.
Well, the only models I like look like dinosaurs, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Dino Rider.
If they made them look insectoid, like actual, because insects are terrifying. Like, nobody, like, except fucking weirdos, like spiders, right? Scorpions are fucking scary, right? Like, look at zoomed in, like, an ant's face under a microscope. That shit will give you nightmares. And we've already seen the Games Workshop can make actual insect models, like the big giant stag beetle that Alariel rides. That thing's fucking awesome. Just do that, like a whole army, like the Arachnids.
Yeah, if you were gonna go not scary at least. But I mean, like, fuck it. I think that is dope because what we're saying is Mechanids is kind of would be more interesting than what we have.
Yeah.
And so Rob solved this problem because the best Nids already kind of just look dinosaurs, like Damasharons and fucking hairdos and like all that. They look like fucking dinosaurs, man. Like, fuck them. Man, isn't a Damasharon just basically a T-Rex running around?
Basically.
With functional arms.
Well, I mean, like blade hands. They're functional for stabbing things, not wiping his own ass. I mean, they're basically vestibular limbs. Okay. That's for all the Tyranid love in the chat. I'm sorry to rain on your parade and make you hate me now. Make you feel like you have to defend yourself on why you like Tyranids.
Yeah.
I validate and accept that you love Tyranids while also thinking they're the stupidest thing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually was close. It would have been orcs if orcs didn't just come out with a bunch of cool shit recently.
Yeah. My caveat for saying that Nids are stupid is like, hey man, if you have a Tyranids army and you fucking love it and you paint up your army and you're like proud of it and you want to show it to me, like, I respect the fuck out of that. I'll be like, your army looks dope. But if you were to ask me personally what I think about Tyranids, I'll tell you the truth.
See, I get Monster Craft. He's like, Necrons are easily stupider with even less personality. I respect the theory there. I respect.
Well, they tried to give him. That's
I will come back at you and I will say that Necrons have personality and actual characters.
Now they do.
But they didn't before. They were
like,
just determined.
Again,
even back when I got into the game, they had like Emotech the Stormlord.
Well, they didn't have that. That's not how it started. That's all new turn. That's all.
That's all new.
They were literally just fucking the board.
That's all Matt Ward.
They were just Terminator exoskeletons.
Yeah.
Like.
So what you're telling me is Matt Ward did some good shit. Gotcha.
No, the thing is, if Necrons didn't get all that new shit, I don't like. It's really just updating them. And Tyranids, and we're going to talk about Tyranids tonight, and they need some updates, and it's fine. Like, but anyway, let's. That was spicy. That was a good one, Wyatt. And I do advocate for, Lizardmen, Dino Rider, Cyborgs 2022 as the new hottest faction in 40K. We should actually source it from the makers and get a bunch of makers in on this, and let's just get
Rob, can we have one of their warlords be a dinosaur who rides a skateboard named Radical Rex?
Yeah, he has sunglasses on, obviously. Yeah. And his catchphrase is cool dude.
Yeah, he does. His special attack is a kickflip with D3 plus 3 damage. Rob's so
I feel
mad
like you're not taking my project seriously.
Do you remember Mondo Gecko from Nintendo?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have a crossover of Mondo Gecko?
Mm-mm. But we can have Yusaki Yojimbo.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too.
Down with it.
They just sold the Turtles #1 for $250,000.
Wow.
Congrats.
It was great. He's graded like 9.6 or something. They got another one up on auction right now that they expect to go higher because I think it's like graded 9.8.
Congrats on the
Yikes.
collector there. Well, fucking do it then. That's the news. That seems like the most important topic we can be discussing right now.
Turtles comics still hot right now. Got a vintage 88 Eastman and Laird. Get it graded. Anyways, so no new releases from Games Workshop this week, but pre-orders rather. There are new releases, Shadow Throne box and the Maggotkin stuff for Age of Sigmar. We talked about that last week some. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the Blade Champion for Custodes has 2 poses. One where he's running all choppy with the 2-handed sword, and one where he's got a 1-handed sword and his hand's actually pulling another sword out of the scabbard as he's
like
running.
in the artwork.
It's just like the artwork.
That's fucking dope. I don't care what people say. That's like my new favorite Custodes character. Even narrative, yeah, dude. Even narratively, where he's like, I've got 3 swords, and I'm gonna pick which one of them to fuck you up with.
Yep. Cool. And he's got 3 helmets too.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Is it 3 separate swords? Or is it like he dual wields some short swords and then it has like a long 2-handed sword?
So he dual wields the short swords and then he has a long 2-handed sword.
Yes.
But you can't put the 2-handed sword on him if you don't build it. It doesn't come separate.
Oh, I can figure it out.
So if anybody's ever read one of my favorite Michael Sullivan novels series, the Rhaenyra Revelations, Hadrian Blackwater, that's literally him.
I'm gonna get a print ahead out where he's got 1 sword and he holds it in his teeth so he can wield all 3 at the same time.
Nice.
Got him. So yeah, so that'll be out this weekend, and I'm sure they'll probably go for 50-ish, 50 or 60 on eBay. The Hexfire models are still going, high 40s, 50-ish as well. So, if you need to get one on a secondary market, they'll probably be out there. So big news on the business scene. I know we talked a lot about GW in general in the pregame, but Asmodee actually sold company-wide. The whole company sold to they have it's an Embracer group, but it's basically THQ Nordic, which they're a video game maker, which is great because now, so they're into gaming at least. Now you have somebody that's also has a physical, access to physical games as well as board games, tabletop games. So they basically, they own, I would assume they own the licenses to Star Wars Legion, X-Wing, Armada, all that stuff through Atomic Mass Games, along with Marvel Crisis Protocol. Hopefully they transfer, because that didn't necessarily happen when the Halo game didn't transfer after that company went bankrupt. So
Bungie went bankrupt? Who went bankrupt?
So no, the
board game people went bankrupt.
Spartan Games.
That's right.
Went bankrupt, and I want to say Tabletop. TT Combat bought them out, but they didn't get the Halo license. So the Halo miniatures go for a pretty penny on eBay. It's kind of crazy. So 2 points, I want to say it's 5.6 or something euros. Kind of crazy when you think about it, because they had a pretty good return on investment overall. And it seems like everything's going to still stay in place. The current CEO is going to stay in place, at least for a transition period. And they're supposedly not looking at restructuring. Could be because they already kind of cut Asmodee to the bone to prep them for sale, which we've been talking about for about a year and a half now. So there wasn't too much to kind of cut out. So, but, obviously good for the hobby, because now we have a valuation for a hobby company. If anything was to ever, air quotes, happen to Games Workshop, now we have what they call in the real estate industry as a comp. So you can comp the value of a property or a company. Obviously, there's more goes into a revenue and things like that. But now that we have that, it kind of legitimizes this sector of or hobby
to have a multi-billion-dollar valuation.
So it's good for a lot of reasons. So obviously, in the long run, we'll see how it shakes out. Obviously, Wes, wish the best to everybody for sure. Speaking of Halo, the first look trailer came out, and it wasn't only 28 seconds. It was almost a minute long.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff in that trailer. I'm getting more and more hyped for the show. Like, I think it'll be cool.
I had to remind myself it was live action. I was like, so shit, this is live action.
The one thing that kind of set off some alarm bells for me is we have yet to hear Master Chief say anything.
True.
I'm like, I think over time I could live with the fact if they had a different actor, maybe even the actor in the suit be the voice of Master Chief and not the voice actor of Master Chief. But I feel like that is a huge fucking landmine where if the first episode airs and Master Chief says something and it's some other person, it's going to seem very, very off. Right.
Yeah.
And the suit looked not bad, like not bad by any stretch of the imagination, right? But not as tight as I kind of expected it to be. But I have to kind of remind myself that it's very, very possible that when you look at trailers and stuff like this, that might be before changes or post stuff or whatever. Like that might be like from very early production.
Even some like air quote spy photos of the suit and even the Warthog and some of the weapons looked good just for being semi-potato quality.
Do we know who the like prop company is for the show?
No, they never said.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Weta, but because we know that Weta can do Halo shit. They did it before.
Speaking of which, we didn't talk about this. Did you see Weta got sold? He sold them.
Did not.
Yeah. Peter Jackson sold Weta.
I imagine he made
he did well.
Amount of money.
$300.
Exactly how much.
Yeah.
Must have sent it back a couple $100.
At least. How much did he sell for? Oh, 1.6 billion.
Oh, yeah. Word.
To Unity Software, another video game. Wait, are they? Yeah. Interesting.
That's cool.
Sold 60% of what is digital shares. Interesting. 3D Tools division, Unity Software for 1.6 billion.
Oh, so maybe it's their CGI stuff. And
I think it is.
Not their prop.
No.
Physical stuff.
He said he sold 60% of his digital shares. So or is he sold 60% of the shares or his shares?
60% stake in a company.
So that is.
Oh, so he just cashed out.
Yeah, it sounds like Coach. Yeah, like he cashed out of the digital side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a
Digital
transfer of
FX
ownership now that they
division.
have control of the share, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's still going to get paid on it. But yeah, that was just interesting to see. Yep. So definitely looking still stoked. And then Book of Boba comes out on the 29th of this month too. And unfortunately, the Halo show is going to be paywall behind Paramount Plus.
Okay. Anymore.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of people have that because of Discovery.
It's 2021. Cable is dead. The new form is you pay $5 here, you pay $5 there. Yep. Don't complain.
And I don't watch commercials or anything. I just watch what I want.
I will get a sub for Paramount Plus for the duration of Halo, and then I'll cancel that shit.
Yeah, it's like
that easy. It's
like sometimes people get upset. Like, oh, like, I mean, like Rob was like, unfortunately, and I'm like, TV was never free, Rob.
Yeah. Pay for cable.
Like TV was never free. I think that like
gouged.
I think like cable. 10 years of like YouTube has like trained us to expect so many things for free.
Yeah.
It's like
also like assuming that you have to like get a streaming service and just pay for that shit even when you're not using it. It's kind of a boomer thing to do. Like,
well, I'm sure people will vote with their the streaming dollars.
I mean, it's evidence to an earlier conversation we had in the pregame show about, people will pay for a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
If it's easy enough value to them, people will definitely pay for it. You know why? Because we all pay $1 for a song from Apple. They figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's all licensed and it's all good to go.
Yep. Good analogy, Rob.
So that model is there and it's successful. The last 20 years says we did it.
New season of The Witcher comes out tomorrow.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Wargame Exclusive launched a new website for basically all their Grimskull miniatures, and it looks good. It's super fast. It's very easy to navigate. Shipping takes like two weeks to come over from Ukraine, give or take. So lots of, and they're always putting new stuff out. Like every 2 weeks they got, sometimes even every week they got a new model coming out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Street Fighter miniatures game. So super successful Kickstarter. I think they generated like $2 million or something like that. They just announced that they're going to distribute it through Asmodee is the official distributor for it. They also make the My Hero Academia trading card game, also distributed through Asmodee. So the Street Fighter miniatures game is pretty dope. It's pre-painted, but the sculpts and the paint jobs are fantastic. Don't get them mistaken for like that HeroClix stuff, which if you're into HeroClix, at least they're painted.
Shit's busted. I know.
I feel like we as hobbyists can do better than the HeroClix stuff. So if you're going to sell a miniatures game to somebody that, market it at the hobby that's into miniatures, you're going to have to come out with some pretty high quality paint jobs. And they did. And, you know, all the effects and everything are great. Acrylic, kind of acrylic translucency feel to it. Very cool looking stuff. So I can't wait to see that get into distro. I think the starter is going to be $160, a little on the pricey side, but for what you get in there with pre-paints, I feel like it might be some value. We'll take a closer look when we get it in our hot little hands. Or if you don't want to wait, you can get all of it on eBay right now from all the Kickstarter pledges. Up to you. But it will run you, saw them around the $400 range for everything. So there is that. Also, female cannon fodder miniatures from Wargame Atlantic they just announced them. They showed off some sculpts. They look great. They just got the male cannon fodder squads out. 30 miniatures for $35. It's like $110 a miniature. I don't know if there's a better value out there than the stuff that Wargame Atlantic's doing, to be quite honest. And what I like about these miniatures is I've got them. I've already done a review on them, but you can mix and match them with some of the other kits out there, and you can create some dope looking alternative guard. You can use them for pretty much any game under the sun because they've got gas mask versions. They've got military-esque versions. They've got Penal Legion versions, all in the same kit. It's crazy. So it's a very versatile kit that I think is definitely worth looking at. If you're like, yeah, you know, but I want my things to look this way. It's almost like a blank slate to start from that isn't quite vanilla, you know, because you have all these other bits in there. So you can create some really unique looks. I think we're going to start seeing more and more of these figures out there, to be quite honest. And last but certainly not least, Rampart, the 3 Kickstarter. I talked about this already, but I actually got the pieces in my hot little hands. And so they're going to go live on the 11th. So we still got about a month, but they finally come out. They've finally done it. They've come out with the walls. They've come out with the floors. And these are going to make really incredible looking additions to any tabletop out there that I feel like it's definitely going to be worth a look. And they're all backwards compatible with the other sets they've come out with, the Cobalt Foundry, the Cathedral set, and the Kazumi Ruins or something. They're like kind of Aztec-y looking temples. They're all backwards compatible. So being able to get all the stuff built up, going to do some videos on it, show how modular it looks. But the Kickstarter's to kind of develop more Necromunda-esque kind of bits, you know, like functional ladders, steps that you can actually, you know, slide miniatures on and have them sit there, bridges, kind of like really cool, just stuff to add that really isn't out there. And I feel like in a hard plastic format, it's going to be really good value for the money out there. So definitely more to come on that. So check all that stuff out here in the near future after the holidays. So look for more news after Christmas from Games Workshop, I'm sure, when they have some new previews and pre-orders.
So Custodes are near and dear to you, but I think we actually are supposed to thank some patrons at this moment.
We are. We got a couple of new pledges. So a special thank you to Jason Bagley and Tabris. Thank you very much.
How close are we now, Rob?
Actually not sure.
Yeah, Kenny already made the down payment on the
Yeah, I'm already paid up on this thing,
Prius. Man. He's taking it to the shop to get wrapped soon.
We have 72. We need 28 more by New Year's.
28 more. We get to do the annual promo.
T-shirt promo, yeah.
It's
gonna be good.
Thanks, guys.
We're growing over there, and we brought a bunch of folks over from the other content area. So there's a lot of folks still supporting us, and we super appreciate it that are never going to get on Patreon because they're already on something else, which is our mistake.
Yeah, we're so proud of it when we did it.
So much work.
Custodes near and dear to both of you guys' hearts. We got to look at some stat sheets, some actual statistics recently.
Yeah, we get some new stuff. Some little leaky poos. So let's start off with prosecutors. Saw the data sheet for prosecutors.
Yeah,
got some cool stuff. Got these prosecution protocols. So Rob might have to remind me what they had before and what is new. But so far, they have a pretty solid stat line. You can ignore the lookout sir rule if the target is a psyker, which is kind of cool.
That's new.
Psych out grenades and whatnot. So useful, kind of interesting. They have this Daughters of the Abyss ability. But it's
which we don't know.
It says C Codex Adeptus Custodes, so that might be spicy. The Vigilators, which are the Great Blade Wielders, also have that Daughters of the Abyss. And the Executioner Great Blade looks like it's going to be hitting at Strength 5 -3 for D3 damage. It's not bad for a Toughness 3 model to be slinging around.
No doubt.
The new Alaris Custodians. Hold on.
Oh, dog got in trouble.
Man, fucking cats. Rob knows.
Oh, it was a cat attack.
Yeah. Alaris Custodians. So Aegis of the Emperor is something that all these guys get now. And I think that's the same as the Grey Knight ones, right? Where it's just a 5-up, feel no pain against all mortal wounds.
Is it the same as some other?
It used to be against psychic attack mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Also lists their martial kata stuff that we've seen in the last couple of posts. Slayers of Tyrants. Each time this unit piles in or consolidates, each model in the unit can move towards an enemy character model instead of the closest enemy model, so long as one or more models finish that move within engagement range of that character model.
Kind of a situational ability.
Yeah.
So the Aegis of the Emperor is the ability they used to have, the 5-up invul. And then the mortal wound.
Okay.
So feel no pain against psychic mortal wound damage.
Huh. So it's the same name as the Grey Knight one, but does something different? Is the Grey Knight one just the Aegis?
I think it's just the Aegis.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I'm going to look it up.
We know how much Games Workshop likes its weirdly similar naming conventions for different things.
How big of a size of a squad can you take for those Alaris?
1, 2, 6.
So you can take a one-man squad?
It looks like it.
That's useful.
Kind of interesting, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. God, it's like these are like legit out of focus. It hurts my eyes. It's like all of its axe and guardian spear stuff is 2 flat damage. Pretty cool.
As expected.
I don't know. I think I may have mentioned this last time, but like I don't mind D3 damage because in mass it can kind of spike, especially with so many things having damage reduction now. I like being able to go from 3 to 2 rather than 2 to 1. That makes sense. I know the math says that flat 2 is better than D3, but
Except in that one situation.
yeah.
If you go up against somebody who's doing -1 damage, rather have D3s.
Yeah.
I think with those they get extra. So the spear is an extra strength now, and of course it's flat 2 damage too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think army wide they're all extra. They're 11 leadership.
Leadership 11?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Up from 9.
I mean, that makes sense with more things affecting leadership and with the way that morale tests work, it makes sense to have them have like a kind of a preposterously high leadership.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean.
Yeah, because I mean, like you could just say that they ignore morale tests, right? But there are other yeah, and I was going to say there's other interactions in the game that go off of the leadership characteristic. So, like, it doesn't matter if you ignore morale checks. Like, if it's something like, oh, if I roll over your leadership, I make you fight last, or I have this psychic power that does so many mortal wounds if I beat your leadership characteristic, right? So, design-wise, it just makes sense to have a crazy high leadership for a lot of reasons.
It does. It's a good point.
Let's see. Show off the shield captain in Alaris Terminator armor. Same weapon.
That was just,
you know.
Oh wait.
He's got his reroll shield host core, so we know that we're getting shield host core.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it's kind of what we expected, right? So if he can't give his aura to a model from a different shield host, and it's still got to be core, right? And his weapons are the same, so it's pretty standard. The Vexillus is kind of what I thought was the most interesting thing out of all the leaks, right? So there's 3 of them. And you can have one of each of them. You can't double up, but you can have one of each. So technically speaking, you could have all 3 of these on the table at one time, which is kind of cool. And because each one of them is a different ability, they could all stack. So they have the Defensor one, aura, it is keyworded aura, shield host core or shield host character, 6-inch, has the benefits of light cover. So very specific.
Useful.
And it's not like +1 armor save. It's light cover in that sense. They have the Imperious, same keywording, add 1 to attack's characteristic. Kind of useful.
Useful.
And they have the Magnifica, which is what was -1 to hit, what is now dense. So they benefit from dense cover. So interesting change in that it is working with the current dynamic of how a lot of that stuff works. So rather than just a flat, like get +1 to armor save, it's light cover and dense cover.
Which one of these covers is its -1 to shoot through?
Dense.
So in theory, if there's a unit behind these guys, no. They count as being in dense cover. So it doesn't. No,
it just says it has the benefits of dense cover. So it's not.
Units affected by the aura have to receive the benefits of dense cover.
Yeah.
So something like behind that would not be -1 to shoot at because they're shooting through dense cover.
There is no dense cover.
Also, it's terrain feature.
Yeah. There is no actual dense cover here. Models must be affected by the aura to benefit from it.
So while all these effects are interesting with the changes and stuff, the thing that when I saw this, the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh, so there's like factions that are just like, we ignore the benefits of cover. Yep. So these just straight up don't work.
Yeah. So they definitely changed it on purpose. I mean, like,
Yeah. Imperial Fist players rejoice because, like, you don't give a fuck about Vexillas anymore.
yeah, which means that, you're using it, knowing that it's not always going to work. I do like this one. I do like the one that makes you always in cover, though. Light cover?
Yeah, the light cover. That was what I was thinking, because
That's going to be the cheapest, probably, too, points wise.
yeah, because while we don't know 100% yet, one of the rumors was that the +1 to your invul saves for being all Custodes is going away, right? And so if that is the case, then it's going to make terrain much more important, or the benefits of cover much more important for your army, to give them like a 1+ save, or to get that 0+ save if they have a storm shield, right? So having the defense sword Vexilla, where you can march around, that ability not actually have to be in a terrain feature, is actually pretty cool. And also lets you do things like, I want to be obscured from things, but I also want to have that +1 to cover in case they have artillery pieces, like a Manticore. So now you can do that. I can be obscured, and then when the artillery shoots at you, you do have light covered still.
Yeah, because if you stand in the feature, you can be seen again. So, like, for anyone who's curious about that. So that's pretty versatile. I like those changes. Interesting.
Blade Champion. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have probably seen the Blade Champion rules.
The full rules.
Yeah. They gave out his power level and points. He's 110 points, which I think is very affordable for a custodian character that does what this guy does. He's got the standard custodian stat line, but he's rocking 7 wounds, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
He's got 6 attacks, pretty solid number of attacks. And he's got 3 swords. Like, he just carries around 3 swords at all times. And before selecting targets in the fight phase, you select one of the swords to strike with, right? So he's got the Behemor sword that is going to be strength 7 -4 2 damage.
Dirty.
And each time an attack is made with this weapon against a monster or vehicle, an unmodified hit roll of 4 automatically wounds the target. Pretty solid. Then he's got the Hurricanus sword, strength 5 -1 1 damage, but makes 2 hit rolls for each strike instead of 1. So that's his sweeper.
That's his whirlwind attack.
Yep. And then he's got the Victus for strength 6 -4 3 flat damage. And when you attack a character, you get to reroll the wound roll. And then he's got 3 abilities. Consummate Swordsman. Each time a melee attack is made against this model, an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 always fails.
Ooh, transhuman on the hit.
Each time a melee attack is allocated to this model, add 1 to the armor saving throw.
Ooh, he's a dodge. He's like dodging and weaving out and parrying blows.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
What a beatdown artist.
Then he's got Martial Inspiration. Each time a friendly shield host unit declares a charge against an enemy unit that is within engagement range of this unit, add 1 to the charge roll made for that unit. Also very handy. And
super
it's not
handy.
core, so that helps out a lot of stuff, right?
Many times dropping in with fucking Terminators, failing a reroll charge.
Yeah, charge this guy in first. Like, he's leading the charge and he helps out his buddies. And then he's got Legacy of Combat. This is a big one. At the start of the fight phase, if this model is within engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight first that phase. This model is eligible to perform a heroic intervention if it is within 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of any enemy unit. Each time this model makes a heroic intervention move, so long as it ends that move either closer to the closest enemy model or within engagement range of an enemy character unit, it can move up to 6 inches. All other rules for heroic interventions still apply.
This guy's 110 points. What a baller.
Yeah, dude, right?
What a fucking
And the
baller.
model is sick. Like, I'm really excited to get this guy in my hands. Like, he's a really cool character. He also has the Blade Champion keyword. So maybe there's some stratagems that affect blade champions. Something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
What a fucking sexual fucking like just Tyrannosaurus Rex. I was gonna say what a sexual predator. I'm like, wait,
Yeah, what is he predator?
no, sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex who is a predator.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, a lot of people. Well, we don't have the whole picture because we don't have the codex, but it's looking good so far.
Well, that's fucking sick. That's a sick update on the old Custodes. I mean, I bet a lot of motherfuckers on the internet are fucking super happy on that. I mean, that guy is American Express card, right?
Man. I mean, Trajan seems to be like he's going to be really good. So we'd have to see what his abilities do. Like if he is still worth taking over your normal shield captains. I imagine he might have the same thing where it's like Captain Aura, but point and click chapter master rerolls, possibly. I don't know. We'll have to see what he does. But the Blade Champion is definitely going to be like the second
110
HQ in
points.
all of my battalions.
Yeah, obviously in your battalion.
Every time.
What a beast. Fuck. So, good update on the Custodes. Now let's slide right into Narlan's Open.
Narlan's.
Wyatt recently played there. We actually did a whole breakdown on our tactics discussions earlier today on our Next Level Painting Tactics, or Next Level Tactics page on our secret Facebook account. I don't think we have enough time for him to go into that level of detail. He broke down every game, every matchup, every mission type. His thought process of the secondaries. I think if you're like trying to jump into GTs and you haven't you're getting kind of nervous. I think it's one of our best episodes, and it's our last episode of the year. Like he really broke it down. And
Year ender.
And spoiler, like he finished 4-2, and anybody who's been following Wyatt's journey toward best Chaos Space Marine, he's still in it because his major competition.
Still in it, yeah. So we were. Russell and I were both at the event, and Russell and I are like buddies, right? We're not like crazy good friends. We don't hang out a lot because he lives in Houston. But
there's a mutual respect for this competition.
And we're friendly. We're both Army guys, so there's brotherhood there, and so we have a very friendly rivalry, right? And unfortunately, Russell went 3-3 at the event, and I went 4-2, and one of the things that we were talking about in tactics was just that I made some mistakes on day 2. And when you get into top tables on day 2, or just in general, it is a game of mistakes where you really have to do that. You know, like dice, maybe your list build, those things can fail you sometimes, but most of the time it is simply a game of who makes the most mistakes and punishing those mistakes. And that's why I kind of focused on those, because if somebody just straight up outplays you, or your list is just hard countered by their list, it's not so much of a learning experience, right? But if you make mistakes and you can directly correlate those to, this is why I lost that game, or this is why I lost that turn and didn't score those points the way I should have. Those are learning experiences. So there was a very rare rules interaction in the fight phase that I had not seen before. It had not come up in the entirety of all the games I've been playing of 9th edition. And that is that if 2 units are locked in engagement range in the fight phase for more than a turn. So
ongoing combat, not the charge phase. A unit can use its activation and consolidation movement to touch a unit or model not in engagement range and immediately fight that unit. And some people might have known this for a long time. Some people might not, but it is something that I had never seen before. Or maybe the chance for it to happen had come up, but it didn't. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things here, right? First off, for you to even like move the model any further, you have to have made sure not to have gone base to base with your initial target in the ongoing combat, right? So you have to have like created that bubble, that space, that opportunity. So at the end of any fight phase, you can still, or at the beginning of any fight phase, you can still have that move available. I personally also have never experienced it. And so it was new information to me. That's why I think it was a good episode, man.
Yes. And so just to kind of paint a picture, I needed to steal the central objective in a mission. And I moved to Helldrake over there whilst World Killers was active. And had I known that the Terminators in combat with one of my other demon engines could use their 3-inch move to go and touch my Helldrake and immediately fight it, I wouldn't have put it there. I had more movement. I could have put it 5 inches away from that unit and still touched the objective and stolen it. I just didn't know that was a thing and didn't think of it at the time. So that was a big learning experience where that cost me that entire turn and quite possibly cost me the game because of the point swing that happened. So that's the type of mistake you have to look out for. And a lot of times games are won and lost in the movement phase. So you got to really like think about those. So yeah, like just small little things like that.
So, but all that to say, you're in the race.
Mm-hmm.
It's anyone's game. You go into LVL. You're bringing dedicated Chaos Space Marines faction.
Yeah, I am. As much as I'm kind of actually burned out on Chaos Space Marines right now. There's a lot of really fun things you can do with Chaos. And people are out there doing them. And I could give recommendations. Like there's an Exalted Bloodthirster that just seems super fun to play. Being able to play Be'lakor, being able to do things differently, right? There's so much cool, awesome, competitive things you can do with Chaos that I can't do because I have to save mono Chaos Space Marines for these faction points. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to try to go to LVO, and it's going to be a fair fight between Russell and I, and maybe even Arthur. I think he's in third place right now
too.
Yeah, I think we both have 680 something points right now. So if he's going to LVO, I don't know if he'll be there or not. I don't really know the guy. But there could be a wild swing, right? For all the people showing up at LVO, right? So it'll be interesting to say the least. I'm glad that it's still going on rather than the dream dying at New Orleans.
Yeah. So I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be awesome. And I'm really rooting for you, man. I think it'll be just so sick.
Yeah.
But you were there. You were at the event. You had a lot of fun. We talked about it earlier. But what's interesting, and this has come up a few times on the internet since we talked to Tactics and now, is John Lennon winning the event with his Tyranids.
Tyranids, yeah. Before we get into that, I do gotta shout out the U.S. Army esports guys that were there. We were kicking it, and I got to shout out XPZ. I was there hanging out with them, so I got to say what's up to all those guys, and I look forward to seeing them at LVO.
I heard there was a game being played.
What game?
A game normally I get to be part of, but apparently I wasn't there. So.
Oh yeah. So we did play a game, and it was called Guess How Old Rob Is, and the answers would surprise you.
Ooh, that's a great title. I'm gonna write that down.
You should just post your birth date and be like, "This is how old I actually am. Please stop calling me a child."
No, you should post all three of our birth dates and then with pictures of our faces and then have people put the dates.
Oh, put them in order.
Oh, yeah. See who's is who's.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, man. But yeah, so congrats to John for winning with Tyranids. From all accounts, he played really, really masterful games. And the new Tyranid stuff is definitely good. They have a big tool bag, right? Not every Tyranids unit is fantastic, right? Some Tyranids units are just straight up bad. Some Tyranid units are legit overpowered, like Tyveguard, as you know. And some are kind of exactly what you need in the moment, right? So a lot of great tools there. The big blobs of Gaunts with Devourers is becoming very popular because it's just buckets of dice being thrown out.
It seems like it's 90 shots, 6s spawn new hits, and they can possibly double shoot if they need to.
Yep. Gene stealers are still very useful.
They went down in points and they're still useful.
Right. And the tactic that's been very popular in high level play for the last couple of months is using Gene Stealer cult forces for the blips. I forget what the actual terminology of them is, but the hidden deployment, because units cannot end their movement within 9 inches of those blips. So it is a great way to sort of game out.
What do you mean? You mean like a deployment?
No, I think it's because they pop out at the end of your opponent's movement phase.
I think that's what they changed it to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like you can't end within so many inches of the blips. So it's a way to screen out things like first turn assaults and some flyers, so they can't like get behind your business because they can't end next to these blips within their little control aura.
Oh wow!
And then when their movement phase ends, they have to pop up, right? So it's literally just for that, and it's a really great tactic.
So it's a control tactic. Ooh, that's gangster.
Yeah. So we'll see if that maintains.
So I mean, the big question is like, what was in his list? Like, because in my mind, I'm like 18 Hive Guard. That's obviously his list.
No, he had 6 of them, which is, 6 is basically 12, right? Because they double shoot.
6 is all you need.
Yeah. So let's look at it a little bit. He's got the Malanthrope, Psychic Bug doing buffy things, right? He's got the Swarm Lord, the OG.
Yeah, double move. Got it.
A couple units of Gene Stealers.
How big?
12.
12-man squads?
Yeah. He's got regular old Hormigons, about 20 of those. And then 2 units of 26 Devourer Termagants, 2 big old blobs of those guys, right? Some Warriors to do action-y things, 6 Hive Guard. 1 Lictor, as is the trope. The Maleceptor, another Psychic Bug doing Psychic Bug things. It's got a unit of Sky Slasher Swarms. And then the Cult of the Four-Armed Emperor GSC stuff with a Patriarch and 2 units of Acolyte Hybrids.
And that brings in the blips.
Yep.
That's impressive. That list is actually got elements of it that I haven't seen put together or like haven't been keeping up with, but I like it. I like the gaminess in it. I like the hidden combos and the hidden interactions. And it uses some old staples, like, of the Tyranid, at least modern Tyranids. Pretty cool. And John is an excellent player. Like, I've personally received a beat down at his hands at SoCal Open before.
Yeah, they also had Mark Perry in the top. I think he got second. Yes, got second place with his orcs, running non-freebooters with the kill rigs, right? Big kill rig things, and that sort of orc stuff. So that's cool to see. I know some people didn't like the don't like the freebooter style, not because of its power, but because of its theme. So seeing the sort of like smashy, stabby, beast snagga type orcs doing well is really cool. And Mark's a big beast of a man, so it's thematic, right? Sean did quite well with his Drukhari stuff. One of our Texas guys, Joni Velasquez, was in the top 8 with his Thousand Sons. So good job to Joni. He's really good at 40K. I don't like it when he comes to RRTTs.
Nice. So Tyranids did well. John crushed it. We've already talked about it on the show. We had a whole discussion about ignoring line of sight and that being kind of a thing in the game, and having a unit that could double shoot with strength 8 guns that do D3 damage, that have 36-inch range. Because the way I think about it now is I'm like, yeah, obliterators are, but I'm like, obliterators don't ignore line of sight.
Yeah, and they're only 24-inch range.
Like, I'm like, if obliterators ignore line of sight, OP. So fucking OP. So I get it now. I can feel it in my heart now. So this is interesting timing because, we got this new army of renowned. the Big Bugs Army of Renown that's coming out that people are talking about and discussing. And we discussed it in the pregame show a lot. It went to, threw a lot of hot takes at it, a lot of, kind of workshopping it. But ultimately, it's kind of cool, right? Like 5 vulnerables on your Big Bugs, which is something that like a Carnifex is suddenly not like a polished hot shit if it has a 5 vulnerable.
Yeah. There's some interesting things you can do with this. And like you said, we were kind of talking about it in the pre-show, in that it's basically like warriors and on up, because you can't have swarms or anything of 2 wounds or less. Swarms
are 2 wounds or less. They're fine. What is it? You have to every time you take a non-big bug, you got to take a big bug.
Right. It's 1 for 1. So it's cool. Like, it's a skew for sure. And sometimes skew can do really well, or it can be a lot of fun and do average, it's still have a great time. But I feel like, to steal Rob's like gluten-free gut check, I feel like regular Tyranids is better than this, because you lose so many tools that you normally would have. Like, one of the other big things is you cannot have Hive Fleet adaptations for any of these units. Can't take them. And some of those are not like game breaking, but they are very, very useful. It's part of your toolkit.
Yeah, you're definitely putting a lot on the shoulders of 5 of them vulnerable here now.
Yeah, and so while I am like self-admittedly not a Tyranids player and not an expert on Tyranids, I would really like to see people play this in competition and see what comes of it. And I would like to see discussion on it, but that's just my initial read.
My gut check is in the modern era, if you spam all these big bugs, like we used to do in the old days, which was really fun and effective in those days. I have a feeling that it's not as competitive of a choice. But the cool thing is like Nidzilla is an element of this like culture of Tyranid fans.
Oh, for sure.
They can do it. So like at the end of the day, it's like I feel like you can do something that you probably already have all the models for.
Yeah.
And like I have tried to make a Carnifex work so many times, but if it only had an invulnerable save, so it's cool that you can actually feel like you don't just auto take things off the table and you can roll dice, and you can still take Hive Guard. So you can still take your 6 Hive Guard. They can still fucking ignore line of sight. They have a 5 vulnerable.
Like a shit ton of Hive Guard.
You can take more than you can take 18. You can take 18. Yeah. You can also take like 68 point units of warriors, 4-man units of warriors, and do actions and still do the new stupid retrieve Octarian data.
Right. I could definitely see this list being sort of like a fun, not as optimal, like midboard assassin, like middle bracket, crusher type of list. So yeah, I want to.
If you set down 9 Carnifexes that are like 100 points each on the table that have 5 of them vulnerables, like, and then have other stuff in your army like 18 Hive Guard. Like that's like
it's very kind of rock paper scissors. Like people are either like, this is no threat whatsoever, or like, oh fuck, I can't deal with this.
It's kind of strange, right? So I'm interested to see what comes out of this. And at first I was a little like, but I'm like, this is cool. This is fucking cool. It's kind of like a little like mini bridge to the next codex where it's like, hey, how you guys love Nidzilla, and you guys for years said like, where the fuck are our vulnerables? We don't have any vulnerables. We can't play. Here you go. Cool. So I think worth talking about a positive way. But if you want to get into the real gangster gut checks, we talked about for a straight 20 minutes earlier today.
Yeah.
And the after hours available on podcast or Patreon. The after hours podcast available on Patreon. It's a lot of P's. Excuse me. God. And also in the after hours, I did unveil an epic gift that I received. That had unboxed on the stream. It was a gift from my brother. And if you guys know anything about my brother's gifts,
it was a good.
You might want to go back and check that one out.
Yeah. What's in the box?
You will not believe what's in this fucking box.
You really won't. I was one.
There's no way you're gonna fucking guess. It's impossible.
Yeah, there's no way.
Fucking impossible.
Knowing Kenny, your first thought was like, it's a dick.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a dick.
I mean, like, we'll be like, well, it's a non-zero chance. No, it's a 0 chance you will guess it's in this box of no foreknowledge. It can't be done. Rob, you had no idea what was in that box?
No.
That's crazy.
Just knew it was cool.
Damn. Well, it was fucking cool. This is, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, the last podcast, After Hours podcast, before the After Hours, all that stuff for Patreon of the year.
Yeah.
You make it sound so final.
That is final. This is
Yeah.
the finale.
We'll be back in January 6th, I think it
I
was.
think that's what we said. I think it's almost always like January 6th for some reason.
Yeah.
Does that number seem normal to you?
No.
No.
It's always like January 6th. It's weird.
Oh, something happened this year on January 6th. That's what I'm thinking of.
Something definitely happened.
We had 6 days without incident in 2021. five and a half days.
You said
By the way, we didn't talk about it, Tabletop Market Watch, but or just in general. But if you like Always Sunny, it's back for season 15, and the first episode was the 2020 in introspective, and they might have had a lot to say about January 6th, 2020, in all the Always Sunny glory.
I think one of my favorite like surprises is we watched the new season of Tiger King, and I did not know that there were people that were trying to get Joe Exotic out of jail. Like they had his little campaign.
Yeah.
They were there, and they were like, this is gone. We have to leave. Like, this is not great. I had no fucking idea those guys were there. But yeah, there's like footage where they're like at the Capitol, and they're like, well, maybe he'll like see our sign and they'll let him out. And then they were like, we should leave. We should get out of here.
Oh my God. Can you believe another year? You know how everyone's always like, this year's going too fast. Can you believe it's already X month? You know how like that's just a thing people say for like your whole life. I finally actually feel that that's actually what has occurred this time.
Yeah.
It's like we slowed down and it sped back.
But last year took forever, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like like time manipulation. Like that we have to get like there's a time dilation from last year that we had to catch up on.
Yeah,
Well,
it has to
was
rubber
weird
band
though,
back.
right? Because like we usually have like the tournament cycle where we get to like see each other every like couple of months, and then there was like nothing until summer, and then we kind of got back to the normal schedule, right? So now that we're back to that, it's planning every month around like the big tournament trip.
Yeah, like I'm fucking be honest, because I got to go to one GT this year. I was so happy to hang out with you and the guys over at the Vegas teams, and then I get to just start like traditionally, like we start the new year. I get to go to fucking LVO.
Yes.
So,
oh God, I'm looking forward to LVO.
Oh my God, dude, let's do it. Let's fucking get back in the game, and here's the 2022. I think I might actually be back from my trip in time for a New Year's stream, because Saturday 1st is the first day of the new year, and I will be back on the 31st. So nice. I will actually be live doing painting content on January 1st.
Man, I might have to step my plan up and come back a little early so that you can do a New Year's handoff on Saturday.
New Year's handy?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's coin that right here. That's the new tradition. On New Year's at 12, handies.
Well, I was thinking about moving up to 4 p.m. so that you could directly hand off every Saturday. So maybe we'll start doing that as part of the New Year stuff.
Why is deliberately not saying handy?
Handy.
Thank you. I will give you the handy.
Okay.
The New Year's handy.
Oh, by the way, I lost a bet, so you now owe everybody on Team XPZ like 15 transferable hand jobs.
All right, just give me a list of names and their blockchain. Yep.
so transferable handies are now NFTs.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh no.
Crypto.
It's the only way to keep it secure, man.
Well, speaking of handing off, I think we did it.
We did it. Wyatt, you want to do this thing, Wyatt?
Rob.
We'll see you guys in the new year. Hope everybody has a good holiday, and we'll be back in 2022 in plaid speed. Hopefully it slows down a little bit. So, but until then, For exclusive content and early access videos, head over to thelongwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today.